Right, so I've finished the next 3 volumes of One Piece. This is volumes 4, 5, and 6, and I'm starting to like this now. I think the next 3 volumes are probably what are going to really get me into this series in a big bad way. But I don't I don't have the same. Well, let me kind of. At the end of the first 3 volumes, I was thinking, this is fun, this is nice, this is feeling very Saturday morning cartoon, and maybe that's where this series is like kind of living in, but I haven't gotten to the point yet where we're starting to get the emotion of it all. I haven't really gotten to the point where I really feel for these characters. There are moments in this, like a big thing happens to Zoro at the end of this that is really interesting. That I'm excited to see where that goes, because I know where it goes in the live action. So I'm excited to see what happens with that in this. And I'm excited to see where this goes. The big thing with this is a lot of these 3 volumes. I think the first volume and a half of this is dealing with Usopp and the Butler, and that story, that kind of like mini arc, just goes on for too long. It just goes on for way too long. There isn't enough there to kind of make me feel like, because this character is being given as much like reverence as like Buggy was in the first 3 volumes. And I don't think he's as interesting. And there isn't as much of a like emotional attachment to him. And it does very much feel like this, and maybe this is a manga thing in general, it does very much feel like every arc is like, oh, you're fighting a load of mooks, and then you're fighting 2 like mini bosses, and then you're fighting the big bad, and that kind of goes on for like a volume and a half. That was the Buggy stuff was that, and the Butler stuff is that as well. And coming out of that, when we go to the Barati, the ocean-going restaurant, and we meet Sanji, that's where I feel like the kind of formula of One Piece is kind of breaking away already. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, because we're going into Arlong Park next, and I'm really excited for that, because I know what happens in the live action. So I'm excited to see how that was handled in this. And the big thing that I've been told is wait till volume 8. I'm looking forward to volume 8. The actual like look of we're getting a lot more like double page splashes. This is predominantly action, which I really like. And the double page splashes, Ichiro Oda, or Oda-san, as much as I'm not really gravitating towards the characters and the writing yet, the action sequences, they feel frenetic. Luffy's gum powers are, everything feels clear, even though, the actual format is so small. Everything still feels really clear, and there's like frenetic. It's frenetic. It's full of energy. You could just look at the pictures and not read what's going on, and you'd still be able to kind of make it out. I'm not having a problem with the reading backwards of it all. It's just the one thing for me is like, I kind of went into this expecting a volume to feel like an issue of a comic book, whereas it kind of feels like a chapter of a volume is more like an issue of a comic book, where a volume isn't going to necessarily be. It's not necessarily like this was collected as like 3 volumes because it's because the 3 volumes is a story, or like this is an arc. It's more of like it's more like the arc with Usopp and the Butler and the Black Cat Pirates starts halfway through volume 3 and ends halfway through volume 5. And then the Barity stuff starts like a couple volumes after, or starts like halfway through volume 5 and leads, like, we're not done with that by the end of this. Like, the end of this, and it's kind of what I'm getting annoyed with these collections in general. With these collections as they are, you know, I would, you know, this is a thing that would annoy me even with reading it volume by volume as well. Probably even more so, because you're not getting like, really much of a full arc at all with a single volume. It feels like each chapter is that like issue of a comic book instead of the volume being that. Which, I can take or leave, but that's the reason why I'm doing these, is because I get more of a bulk of story. And am I enjoying it? Yes, I'm very much enjoying this. I like, it's not like I don't feel anything towards these characters, and when what happens to Zolo, when that does end up happening, and he has his big fight with Mihawk, it really works. And like I said, the splash pages through that are freaking beautiful, and the character designs are, I think a reason why this kind of connected with people even before you get into like even before you see the emotional stuff, and before you get to really start gravitating towards these characters, is because the designs are so cool and they're all like memorable. And as annoying as Luffy is, where you kind of get more of what his character is all about in this, but as annoying as he is, as much as all he wants to do is really eat food, I enjoy his design, and I enjoy whenever he's involved in an action sequence, because Oda-san is going to have an excuse to go all out with the artwork. That's what I'm really enjoying, more so than maybe the story or the characters is. And it's the reason why comic books and manga are so good, is because it's a visual medium, and because, if the writing is falling flat, the artwork can bring it back up, and if the artwork isn't as great, the writing can bring it back up. And that's maybe what I'm feeling with this. But there are moments of like, that's really cool, that's a really good idea, but then I'm still kind of in that headspace of, this still very much feels like a Saturday morning cartoon, and maybe maybe getting myself back into that headspace of like, this is just something that's going to be fun, is going to make me enjoy these even more. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your how you were feeling about One Piece in the early stages of it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of like the Black Cat stuff. Do you kind of have the same opinion as me where that kind of goes on a bit too long? And if it goes on that long in this, how long is it going on in the anime? Because I know it's one of the things that the live action gets really well is that's an episode. In the live action, it's an episode. Here it's like 2 volumes, and like I said, a volume, or like it does feel like a chapter of this is an episode of the anime, whereas like a volume of this is a live action episode. And I really like how the live action treats this, and I'm excited to go onward and forward with this series, because you know every little bit that we get is you know making me feel more and more for these characters. But the thing is, we're not in a big arc yet. And maybe, like, from everything that I've heard, it's like the next volume or the next 3 volumes. Like, the next one of these that I'm doing is going to be where the big things start coming, and, like, things really start to, like, the ball starts rolling, really. So I'm excited to get into that. I'm excited to get into Arlong Park. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's easy breezy video, this one, and that's why I've been liking doing these videos on the One Piece ones, because they are like easy breezy, and getting through 3 volumes of One Piece, I got that done in a weekend. Like 600 pages done in a weekend. Usually that would take me a month. If this was a book, right, it would be a month. So yeah, One Piece, the biggest like boon I can give this is it goes by like that. Like, you can get a volume done in like an hour. So really, anyone like could get a volume like that done in a night, or could get like that done in a night probably. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I'm trying to not give spoilers away in these. Maybe as we get further along, that's going to get harder and harder to do. But I'm trying, at least for this first arc, up until this changes from East Blue to something else, then I'm going to be kind of maybe being a bit more lax in the spoiler realm. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read One Piece. Please don't spoil it in the comments, by the way, because I know some people want to do that, and you shouldn't, because it's rude. But yeah, don't spoil it in the comments, but let me know, am I right in saying that the next batch of volumes is going to be where I maybe start getting into it more? Or is this kind of where my head will be at for the majority of it? Like, oh, it's just fun Saturday morning cartoon stuff. Because that will let me know what headspace I need to go into One Piece with. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that lovely good stuff. Comment in the comment section below. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.